Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the City of Paterson Planning Board meeting on Wednesday, February 16th, 2022 via webinar session. Chairwoman Northrop, you may proceed.
Thank you. Do we have all the attorneys for the applications and everything else in attendance?
We're here.
Okay, good. All right, would everyone please rise for the flag salute? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Hey, commissioners, planning board staff, ladies and gentlemen, as chairwoman of the City of Paterson's Planning Board, I call this meeting of 2/16/22 to order. I hereby state that all the provisions of the State of New Jersey Public. I'm going to ask everyone to please turn their microphones off, okay, and only while somebody else is speaking. If you don't have to speak right now, please turn your microphones off. I hereby state that all the provisions of the State of New Jersey public law have been fully and completely met, that the notice of provisions required have been properly posted in the planning board office and with the City of Paterson clerk, that the public notice and the advertisements have been published in the Herald News on 2/5/22 in accordance with the law, and that the copies of such notice and public advertisements are on file in the planning board office, as is also the agenda listing the applications to be taken up by the planning board at this meeting. The procedures tonight will be in accordance with the rules, regulations, and bylaws as heretofore determined by the planning board at its office in the municipal complex in the City of Paterson. Roll call, please.
Good evening, commissioners. Commissioner Udine? Commissioner Udine? I lost him. Okay, Commissioner Ahmed is absent. Commissioner Cleaves? Present. Commissioner Fisher is absent. Commissioner Liranzo?
Present.
Commissioner Santana?
Present.
Commissioner Amar?
Present.
Commissioner Roman is absent. Councilman Kalik is absent. We'll return to Vice Chairman Udine. Are you there, sir?
It looks like he lost the connection, to be honest with you, so maybe you can see if IT can get him back on, because I believe
Yes.
you need him for the quorum.
Okay.
We'll wait till you
And
can get him.
Chairwoman Northrop,
Present.
thank you. May proceed.
I can't proceed until Udine gets on. I think we only have four commissioners right now. We need Udine.
We have 6 commissioners present.
We do?
Oh,
Okay.
Udine, it's 5, but Udine
Yeah,
is 6.
we got 5 without Commissioner Dean.
Without him, yes.
We do have 5 without commissioner. Okay, so then we're gonna begin. All right, so notice pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act addressing effective coronavirus measures on the next public meeting, which would be this evening, consistent with the coronavirus-related restrictions of Executive Order number 107 given on Saturday, March 21st, 2020, by Governor Philip D. Murphy, the Planning Board of the City of Paterson will not conduct in-person participation of the public at all future meetings until further notice. However, public participation will be available by means of communication equipment pursuant to NJSA 10:4-8, commencing on April 15, 2020. Though there may potentially be a practical need for a limited number of administrative, technical, or other city personnel to be present in or near the City Council Chambers, 3rd floor, City Hall, 155 Market Street, Paterson, New Jersey, in-person participation of the public is prohibited. Nevertheless, for reasons of compliance with the said Executive Order number 107, public participation will be available by calling 973-321-1579, and the meeting ID is 711-680-001. I will repeat that, okay, later on in the evening. So if you didn't catch that right now, I will repeat it one more time when I ask for questions from the public. On the date and time that the meeting is scheduled to commence. The public may also participate in the meeting by accessing the website of the City of Paterson, www.patersonnj.gov. there will be tonight is the regular meeting, and I believe we have two applications, and I believe we're hearing 61 16th Avenue LLC, 38-42 Pearl Street, Block 4317, lots 14 and 15 first. And who's representing them this evening? Is it you, Mr. Maricondo?
Alan Maricon on behalf of the applicant, Madam Chair, good evening.
Good evening. All right, thank you. So on an 8,972 square foot paved lot used for parking and residential use, the applicant proposes to remove the existing improvements and construct a new 4-story residential building with a partial basement floor and a total of 18 units. The partial basement floor is to accommodate the mechanical equipment, the utility meters, and the sprinkler valve. The first floor proposes 18 parking spaces, a bicycle rack, a lobby, mailboxes, 2 mechanical rooms, 2 stairwells, an elevator, and a dumpster/compactor room. The second through fourth floors proposes 4 one-bedroom units and 2 two-bedroom units on each floor. The roof plan proposes a recreation area of 7,011 square feet, including a play area and a picnic area. This proposal is within the RA-2 zone of the 5th Ward redevelopment plan. Variances for front yard setback, both side yard setbacks, rear yard setback, building height, number of building stories, a lot building coverage, lot impervious coverage, and parking are requested. A front yard setback of minimum of 3 feet is required and 1 foot is proposed. Minimum side yard setback of 5 feet is required and 1.5 feet and 4 feet are proposed. A minimum rear yard setback of 20 feet is required and 3.5 feet is proposed. A maximum building height of 45 feet is required and 46.6 feet is proposed. A 3.5-story building is permitted and the applicant proposes a 4-story building. A maximum building lot of coverage of 60% is permitted and 87.2% is proposed. A maximum impervious coverage of 80% is permitted, 92.8% is proposed. 21 off-street parking spaces are required and 18 off-street parking spaces are proposed. This requires site plan approval and bulk variances, and this was carried from the January 5th, 2022 meeting. Mr. Deutsch, should I defer at this time to Ms. Farsbood so that she can do the review?
Yes, please, Madam Chairwoman.
Okay, good. Ms. Farsbood, would you please give us your review of the application?
Sure. Property taxes and surcharges are current. Persons having a 10% or greater ownership interest in 61 16th Avenue LLC are connecting blocks 100% owned by Sharik Mustafa and Aryan Star Properties 50% owned by Syed Hassan Reza and 50% owned by Syed Ali Reza, all providing an address of 21 Schindler Court in Somerset, New Jersey. As indicated on the property surveys prepared by Andrew Schmidt, Lot 14 has frontage of 63.75 feet on Pearl Street, a rear lot line that also measures 63.75 feet, and western and eastern side lot lines that measure 72.5 feet each. Lot 14 has area of 4,622 square feet and has a former church and an asphalt driveway upon it. Lot 15 has frontage of 60 feet on Pearl Street, a rear lot line that also measures 60 feet, and eastern and western side lot lines that measure 72.5 feet each. Lot 15 has area of 4,350 square feet and is a paved lot previously used for parking. The combined parcels have area of 8,972 square feet or 0.2 acres. DJ Igarian and Associate has prepared a 4-page plan revised on January 31st, 2022. Drawing 104 is the cover sheet and indicates the title page, the Fifth Ward Redevelopment Plan map, the notes, and the zoning table. Drawing 204 is the demolition plan and the site plan. The site plan indicates the existing conditions and demolition plan and the proposed site plan. All existing above-ground structures are to be removed. The proposed site plan indicates that the proposed building is to be placed 1 foot from the front property line of Pearl Street, 4 feet from the eastern and western side property lines, and 3.5 feet from the rear property line. 18 parking spaces are proposed on the first and 18 feet in length, and the other parking spaces to be 9 feet in width and 18 feet in length. Separate entrance and exit driveways are proposed. The curb cut for the entrance driveway is to measure 18 feet, and the curb cut for the egress driveway is to measure 11 feet. Additional ground floor spaces include 2 stairwells, a bike rack, an elevator and lobby area, a dumpster and trash room, and 2 mechanical rooms. A proposed concrete sidewalk on the western side yard is indicated on this drawing as well. The stairwell next to the lobby area provides an access to the above floors as well as an access to the 987 square foot basement area, which accommodates the mechanical equipment, the utility meters, and the sprinkler valve. Drawing 3 of 4 is the exterior lighting plan. The applicant has advised that security cameras are to be installed on the interior and exterior of the building. Drawing 4 of 4 is titled Construction Details and indicates details for the sanitary sewer lateral and cleanout, the parking stall, the roof leader, the sections and ramp, the service pipe, the utility trench, the handicap ramp and parking, the tree planting, and the sign detail. Trees shall be placed as indicated on the plans. The building and impervious area is proposed to cover 92.8% of the lot, and the building has an approximate dimension of 66 feet in width and 115.7 feet in length. 2-story residential structures are located to the east and west of this proposal within approximately 2 feet and 5 feet of the respective property lines. Michael Romanik has prepared a 5-page architectural plans revised on January 20th, 2022. Drawing 1 of 4 indicates the Pearl Street elevation of the building and notes. Drawing 2 of 4 indicates the ground level parking and floor plan. Exterior door of the mechanical room on the northern side of the building, and the trash and dumpster room shall not open into the right-of-way of Pearl Street. The applicant should advise as to the type of security doors that are to be used at the entrance and exit driveways. Drawing 3 of 4 indicates the typical layout for the building's second, third, and fourth floors. Each floor has 7,750 square feet, which includes 6 units, consists of 4 one-bedroom units and 2 two-bedroom units. 2 one-bedroom units have area of 798 square feet, and the other 2 are 829 square feet and 940 square feet. The 2-bedroom units have area of 1,229 square feet and 1,326 square feet. Each unit contains a washer and dryer, a dishwasher, a kitchen, a living and a dining room area, and a full bathroom. The 2-bedroom units include an additional full bathroom. A trash room with a trash chute is provided on each floor. A note on the plan indicates that all 18 of the proposed units will have an exterior wall mechanical unit that provides for cooling and heating. Drawing 4 of 4 indicates the recreational roof plan. The applicant proposes a 7,011 square foot recreation area on the rooftop, including play areas and the picnic area, as well as landscaping and seating for the tenants. Drawing 5 of 5 are the building elevations. The front elevation view of the Pearl Street side of the building indicates the lobby access door situated in the middle of the building, the entrance driveway located to the left of the front door, the mechanical unit and the trash room doors located to the right of the building, and the exit driveway located on the right side of the building. The first floor indicates a store veneer facade. The upper floors indicate single, double, and triple windows on all 3 floors, surrounded by stucco and store veneer material and the metal rooftop coping. The upper parapet houses the elevator and a staircase for roof access. The right side elevation view of the building indicates an exterior door, the garage openings, a stucco exterior, and single windows on all 3 upper floors. The proposed left side elevation indicates the garage openings, the stucco finish, and the triple windows on all 3 upper floors. The door to the mechanical room located at the southeast corner of the building, and the surrounding walls are not shown on the left side elevation. The rear elevation drawing indicates the rear of the open garage on the first floor, the mechanical room, and single, double, and triple windows on each of the upper floors surrounded by stucco material. The building indicates a top height of 46.6 feet from the ground level to the building roof line. The intent of the RA-2 residential district of the February development plan is to permit a more intensive residential use of land with various types of dwellings. The surrounding existing dwellings are a mixture of older multi-family dwellings, a transmission repair facility, a church, a new 3-story building located on the corner of Pearl Street and Summer Street, vacant lots, and newer 2-family dwellings. The applicant requests variances for the following conditions for this proposed 18-unit structure. Front yard setback. A minimum of 3 feet is required and 1 foot is proposed between the building and front property line. Minimum side yard setback of 5 feet are required and 4 feet are proposed for each side. A minimum rear yard setback of 20 feet is required and 3.5 feet is proposed. A maximum building height of 45 feet is required and 46.6 feet is proposed. A 3.5-story building is permitted and the applicant proposes a 4-story building. A maximum building lot coverage of 60% is permitted and 87.2% is proposed. A maximum impervious coverage of 80% is permitted and 92.8% is proposed. One parking space for each of the 12 one-bedroom dwelling units and 1.5 parking spaces for each of the 6 2-bedroom dwelling units is required. 21 off-street parking spaces are required and 18 off-street parking spaces are provided. A variance is requested for 3 parking spaces. Pearl Street is a one-way street in a westerly direction. As this is a redevelopment area, the planning board must determine whether the granting of the requested variances to allow the number of dwelling units proposed by the applicant is appropriate for the lot and the immediate surrounding area. Residential apartment construction is permitted within the redevelopment area. A mixture of different types of residential units is encouraged. The planning board should determine whether the land area of this parcel is suitable for the number and type of the apartment units proposed and whether additional off-street parking needs to be obtained. If approved, this proposal will require new curb and sidewalk along Pearl Street, a new sanitary sewer installation, a new water service connection, and the trench drain and underground piping. If approved, the applicant shall provide a stormwater drainage calculation. It shall be the responsibility of the applicant and/or the preparer of the plan to obtain a letter from the city engineer indicating that the plans have been satisfactorily reviewed prior to the plans being released to the construction official. According to the city master plan, this proposal is in the Sandy Hill section of the city within the Fifth Ward development plan. The area is primarily residential, but also represents a broad mix of uses, including commercial and civic uses such as the schools. The applicant estimates the cost of this proposal at approximately $2 million. The applicant should incorporate the design elements contained within the Fifth Ward development plan on the site and within the building. The applicant should request that the tax assessor merge the 2 lots into 1 lot number. The planning board has approved the construction proposal located on 71 through 78 16th Avenue on the south side of the subject property to construct a new 4-story residential building with a total of 15 units on April 26, 2021. This meeting was initially scheduled for January 5, 2022, which was rescheduled at the request of the applicant. This was the staff review for this project.
Thank you, Ms. Farzpood. Mr. Mariconda?
Yes, good evening again, Madam Chair and Commissioners. We'll be presenting 2 professional witnesses this evening, as well as the applicant, to confirm that testimony. Mr. Deutsch and Ms. Gomez's report has completely covered the details of the project from an overview context. Again, this is a project in the redevelopment zone, similar to other projects this board has approved. We'll be offering Mr. Romanek as our architect witness and David Garian's office as the engineering site plan witness. So we'll be calling Mr. Romanek first on the architectural element of the project.
Okay, thank you. Where is he?
I'm here, can you see me?
Oh, I can.
Okay, so I'm just a little spot on the graphics.
Yeah, you're a little bit far away, but okay. Go ahead, Melinda.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm testimony about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
State your full name for the record, please.
Yes, Michael Romanek, 291 Crooks Avenue, Paterson.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ask the board to consider Mr. Romanek's expert witness.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair Lady. If I can share the monitor at this point, Madam Chair Lady.
Yes, please.
We'll put sheet number 1 of the set of drawings on.
Yes.
I think you can see it coming now, if everyone can see that. That is the first sheet of the set of drawings. The staff report was quite thorough, Madam Chair Lady and Commissioners, so I'll be brief. As you can see.
There's nothing, oh, here we go. I see it now.
You see now?
Go ahead.
Okay, as you can see, it's a 4-story building with 3 residential floors above the ground floor level parking. Each floor will have 6 apartments. There will be 4 one-bedroom units and 2 two-bedroom units on each of the levels. As you can also see, the property naturally is located on Pearl Street. It's the south side of Pearl Street between Summer and Straight Streets. It is in the 5th Ward redevelopment area. As you can see from the front elevation, we are proposing the finishing materials to be of stone, veneer, and also stucco with casement windows at this point. So that's briefly it. There's a summary on the same sheet, which we'll see in the succeeding pages. If we can turn to sheet number 2, Commissioners, you'll see the ground level plan, which, as already described, you can see the stair and lobby area located in the center of the building itself, accessible directly from Pearl Street. And there's also an elevator which will be provided to all the upper levels. As you can see from the plan, we are providing 18 spaces, parking spaces, and there are 18 units, of course. You'll see the barrier-free parking space, which is adjacent to the lobby, that's centrally located. And you'll see the rest of the other spaces as numbered. We have another stairway, and that's shown in the upper right-hand corner of the diagram, which would also provide access to all the floors above. You can see also along Pearl Street, we are providing a dumpster compactor, which would receive the trash from the above floors. There will be a trash chute on each of the residential floors as well. Next to that is a mechanical room. And also there's another second mechanical room, which is located on the upper left-hand portion of that diagram. Essentially, the building, as you can see, is 66 feet deep. And the width of the building along Pearl Street is approximately 115 feet 9 inches. The property frontage is 123 feet 9 inches, and the depth of the property is 72 feet 6 inches. Commissioners, you can see from the diagram itself, we do have access from, it's a one-way access, as you can see, which is looking at the lobby area of the sheet, and you'll see the driveway, which has an entry that's 18 feet wide that penetrates the parking area, and we do exit on the right side of that diagram again, which goes out to Pearl Street. It is a one-way, so we figure that might be the best solution in circulation for this particular site itself. Commissioners, if we turn to sheet number 3, you'll see the actual floor plan of each of the apartments on sheet number 3. And as I indicated earlier, there are 4 one-bedroom apartments, and you can see from the summary diagram on the far right there, we do satisfy the minimum apartment area of 600 square feet. They range, as you can see, from almost 800 square feet to 940 square feet. There are 2 two-bedroom apartments that also satisfy the 900 square feet minimum. As you can see from that diagram, that ranges anywhere from 1,200 to over 1,300 square feet. So we do satisfy the requirements for the minimum floor area for each apartment. You can see, again, we have 2 stairways that will be serving the second floor as well as the 3rd and 4th floors. All 3 floors are typical in design. And towards the front, you'll see a tenant trash room, which provides the trash chute down to the dumpster itself. And that would also be a room for storing recycled items as well. In each of the apartments, there will be a washer dryer. There will be a dishwasher. The site will have security cameras, not only in the parking level, but on all floors as well. The project will be provided with a sprinkler system as well as a fire alarm system. There will be heating and cooling provisions for each of the apartments and common spaces as well. And again, as I indicated, each floor will be very typical in nature and design, which represents about 7,750 square feet. There is a basement area as well, which I should have mentioned earlier, that will also serve for utilities. Commissioners, if you turn to sheet number 4, you'll see we are providing a rooftop recreation area. The area is comprised of about 7,000 square feet. As you can see on the bottom there, it's precisely 7,011 square feet. Both the stairways, the elevator and lobby will be serving the rooftop recreation area that comprises 7,000 square feet. We do satisfy the minimum open space recreation for each apartment, which requires 200 to 250 square feet for each apartment on an average. We are providing approximately 390 square feet per apartment, so we certainly exceed what is required minimum as far as open space and recreation area. As you can see, there's a general layout, commissioners. There will be planting, there will be play areas and so on with some of the surfaces, which would be hard surface, as well as some of the planting areas. We do show a picnic area. There will be benches there, some seating and so on. There will be amenities for the tenants as well. And turning to sheet number 5, commissioners, just see the elevations. And again, the front elevation is on the upper right-hand portion of that diagram, the Pearl Street elevation. Again, we're using stone veneer for accent of the design, as well as stucco. And you can see the other 3 elevations, commissioners, we're providing a stucco finish, which we feel would be attractive, as well as you can see in the front elevation as well. There's lighting. You'll see the double entry doors leading into the lobby area. And to the right of that would be the mechanical doors, and also there'll be solid doors for the trash containment area as well. So, commissioners, that's what we are proposing. It's 3 residential levels. Each level will contain 6 apartments. The ground floor, again, is primarily used for parking, as well as obviously access stairways, the compact or mechanical room. We do have a 1-to-1 parking apartment ratio. We try to achieve that as a minimum, and we think that works out well. The lot area, as I might have mentioned, is almost 9,000 square feet, specifically 8,972 square feet. So that's a summary of the architectural plans, as well as the ground level. Mr. Gary will describe the site plan itself, which resembles what I have described to you on the ground level plan, Madam Chair Lady.
Mr. Romanek, what I think you indicated it, but if you did not, please let us know. Washer and dryers are included in these units?
Yes, there will be a washer and dryer in each individual unit, as well as a dishwasher.
Right. And there was one question raised in the planner's report regarding the access and in security doors or with the driveway. Could you explain how you have that designed, or would you leave that to Mr. Agarian?
Oh, that'll be an overhead door. It'll be a roll-up door, and there'll be a remote, essentially, for the tenants. As they're coming down Pearl Street, they would press the remote and the door would open. So it'll be a roll-up door, not only at the entry, but also the exit as well. So we do provide that as a matter of security. And as I mentioned before, there will be security cameras also located on the ground level. And as far as fire protection, certainly sprinkler system and fire alarm system. So that is being proposed as well.
Right. Okay, and so your testimony, as we've heard it this evening, encompasses all the changes that we did to this plan just most recently within the last month or so. Is that correct?
That is true, and substantially we are proposing a rooftop recreation area, which we did not have initially. So that's something that we felt would be necessary. And we feel that it's going to certainly be a benefit for the tenants as well.
And the other changes were more interior design work that you've done?
Yeah, it was interior design. We moved the lobby and stairway to the center of the structure. It was to the far left. So we made some internal, changes, but nothing substantial in the sense. It was just a realignment of some parking spaces and also the entry lobby area. And the stairway in the back there remains same that was originally proposed. And that was it, but it was substantially, and the design, the overall design, obviously, the elevation changed with the realignment of the stairs and so on in the front. So we felt that was substantial enough to request that the matter be carried from the original hearing date. And again, we wanted to provide the recreation on the roof as well.
Okay, thank you. Madam Chair, that's all I have for Mr. Romanek at this time.
We can call the next, your next witness, but before we do that, I just have a quick question for Mr. Romanek. Where is the partial basement that you're speaking of? Where is that?
Yes, Madam Chair Lady, if you look at sheet number 2, you'll see the notation there where you see the elevator. There's a dimension that's 35 feet 3 inches, and it says basement below. So essentially, and there's also the depth of that, which really encompasses the lobby area, the stair, the elevator, and also the barrier-free space. So there will be a basement below that, and also below the dumpster area. So that area is 35 feet 3 inches as labeled basement area, and the depth from the front of the building going back, and again encompassing the core of the building, is 28 feet.
But I don't see, I know.
There's no floor plan, but let's.
I'm on page, the first page was the proposed housing, the second with a picture of the building. Second page shows the parking spaces, and I see the staircase, I see the elevator, I see the lobby, but where in reference to this? Okay.
Yes, can you, just to the top, I guess, an inch or two, you might say, from the interior wall of the elevator, you'll see there's a dimension that says 35 feet 3 inches basement below.
Read it. No, you know what, I can't read it.
Right there, I don't know if you can see that on the drawing.
Well,
Oh, all right, it is there, and I did discuss this with,
okay, I see what you're saying, I see it on yours, yes.
okay, and I did discuss it with the staff, so they're quite aware of this. I had a specific, discussion with staff.
But that was my only question, I just wasn't sure, I didn't see it, and that's okay, now that you're pointing it out, I understand where it is, okay.
Yes,
No worries.
not for utilities, Madam Chair Lady, it's strictly for utilities, yes.
Okay, good enough, thank you. Mr. Mariconda, you wanna call your second witness?
Surely we'll call Mr. Gary at this time.
Hello.
Hello?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
How are you?
It's right there in the middle.
Hi.
Raise your right hand. You swear affirm testimony about to give us the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Say your full name for the record.
Sure, it's Jeff Egarian, Egarian. Business address is 271 Route 46, Fairfield, New Jersey. Licensed professional engineer. My license is in good standing, and I have testified before numerous boards on similar land use matters. It is my first time before this board, however.
Okay, we accept him as an expert witness, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair, very much. Mr. Gary, good evening. Obviously, you've had an opportunity to hear Mr. Deutsch's, Ms. Ramos's report into the record this evening, as well as Mr. Romanek's testimony.
Yes, I have.
Okay, good. And are you essentially in agreement with Mr. Romanek's testimony from his perspective?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Could you give us your overview of the site and your site plan description?
Yeah, absolutely. Do you have a copy of my plan, or do you need me to share my screen?
You would share your screen, yes.
Okay, sure. Okay. Can everybody see?
No,
Hopefully it's coming.
I think it's coming, but it's right now, it's just white blanks. Here we go, got it. And I think maybe you're gonna
Okay.
have to enlarge it a little bit, cause it's kind of minuscule.
Okay, I can't see I'm sorry, right?
I think that's a little bit, yes.
Okay. Okay, so what we're looking at here is the existing conditions plan. So on the west side, this is the combined property. On the west side is lot 14. The lot consists of an existing two-story brick dwelling, which is a church building, and an asphalt driveway, some steps, and some utilities. Essentially, this lot 14, is 100% impervious. We're proposing to obviously remove the building and remove the asphalt parking lot for the installation of the new building. Lot 15 is essentially it's a vacant lot, vacant of structures. The planner reports that it has been previously used for parking. You can tell by the topography on the site that the topography runs from east to west. It is a very mild slope. You have the elevation 101 contour at the very limits of the property, and you can see it 99.5 towards the middle of the property where the common property line is, and essentially 99 or 98.5 or 98.2 on the west side of the lot 14. So it's a very mild site. Not too much grading is going to need to be performed in order to accommodate the new structure. The existing grades, the proposed grades, will be able to tie into the existing grades without having a negative impact on the adjacent properties. We will be removing some features in the existing sidewalk, utilizing the existing utilities. I'll move over to the proposed site plan now so we can get an idea of how that's going to work on the site. Obviously, we have our setbacks 3.5 feet from the rear, 4 feet from the side, 4 feet from the side, and 3 feet on the east corner, 1 foot setback towards the middle of the building, 3 feet on the west side, and 4 feet on the side property lines. The roof leaders are proposed to discharge through the curb. We have indicated in a few locations. They'll be discharged through the curb and then travel along the curb line from east to west towards the catch basin on the west side at the adjacent lot. We're proposing a concrete sidewalk along the side yard for tenants to reach the stairs. Let's see, we have we're proposing street trees in front of the building, as indicated by the planner as well in her comments, and also minimal lighting on the site as well around the doors and entryways and garage bays for ingress and egress. And that essentially covers the testimony. Everything else was covered in the planner's report and by Mr. Romanek. If I'll take any questions if anybody has any.
Right. And then with respect to the variances that are cited, you've covered the bulk variances which are created by this new construction. And we have substantially more lot area than required. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Right. And again, we have, as Mr. Romanek talked about, a 1-for-1 relationship with the parking requirement.
That is correct.
That's all I have for Mr. Agarian then, Madam Chair, at this time. He's available, of course, along with Mr. Romanek.
Okay, I'm going to open it up to the public right now, so if anyone in the public has any questions of either Mr. Agarian or Mr. Romanek, please call in at 973-321-1579. The meeting ID is 711-680-001. These are for questions for either of these two witnesses. Okay, Madam Secretary, are you there?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Okay, if we don't have any callers on the line right now, for the sake of time, I'm going to open it up to our commissioners.
Yes, you can. We have no callers on this application.
Okay, all right, so at this time, I think you can take down your plans, Mr. Agarian. So I can see the commissioners. Okay, thank you. Commissioners, questions?
This is Commissioner Cleaves. I have
Yes.
a question. I think it's for Mr. Is it Romnick?
Yes.
Romanek, yes.
Romanek? When you speak of security, the doorways to the lobby, when you come in, do they automatically lock behind you?
Yes, they do.
Oh, okay. Okay. That was my question.
That was your only question, Commissioner Cleaves? Okay. All
Thank you.
right, any commissioners, any other questions? I'm gonna make,
Liranzo,
yes, Commissioner Lorenzo, go ahead.
how high is the building? I know it's 4 stories, but how high is the building?
Mr. Agarian, you can take that if you wish.
Sure. I'm just looking at just open my tomato stuff.
The minimum requirement, as per the planner's report, is 45 feet. I think we just go slightly beyond it.
The report indicates 46.6 feet.
Yes.
On our plan, yes.
Yes, it's 45, so it'd be a 1.5. Am I correct? 1.5 feet higher.
Very minimal variance in our opinion.
Yes.
Okay.
Is that it? Is that it, Commissioner Alonso? Okay. I would like to make a comment. I'm actually liking the rooftop thing. I really am. I think that's a beautiful open space up there. It looks like you got quite a large area. It covers the entire top of the building. You know, you have a picnic area, a play area, you have, just relaxing area, and I'm assuming that, I know you have to follow code on this, but there's going to be a minimum height all around it so that no one's gonna be falling off this roof, correct?
That is correct. There's also notation, Madam Chair Lady, on that plan. It says perimeter parapet with 4-foot-high metal fencing on the parapet itself, so we'll be safe and secure.
Okay, great, wonderful. All right, I like that outdoor space, especially since, there's not that much outdoor space on the first level, so I like the fact that you have it there. Any other questions, commissioners?
This is Commissioner Santana. I just have a quick question. I don't know if I missed it, but does it include recycling under garbage disposal? I'm sorry, I missed that part.
Yes, Commissioner. Each floor will be provided with a tenant trash room. On sheet number 3, you can see that. So all the tenants will go to the trash room. They'll just open up the chute and it goes right down to the ground level dumpster and compactor. And also that same room would be provided to store any recycled items from the tenants themselves, which would also be disposed of in the same way. There'll be a diverter when you drop it down the chute. It diverts to the other compactor, and that would be containing the recycled items.
Oh, perfect. Sometimes they don't include the recycling when they have this type of system. So it's good to know that you guys have that in mind. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you. Commissioners, anyone else? Okay. Hearing no one else, I'm gonna ask Mr. Maricondo, would you like to summarize, please?
Sure. Just for the record, Mr. Mustafa, the principal of my applicant, is here. And if he's needed, he can be called upon, but I believe we're ready to summarize unless there are any questions for him. So I'll proceed then.
Sorry, yes, please.
Okay, thank you. Again, thank you for hearing us this evening first. We appreciate the opportunity. This is a development within the 5th Ward redevelopment zone. This applicant has other Paterson properties, so we're very confident with the design team and the engineering team that we have, that our development of this site will follow strictly in accordance with the requirements of this review. This is a project which will provide very much needed housing in the 5th Ward redevelopment zone, which sometimes doesn't get as much development as the 4th Ward in some cases. So we're very excited about this. We think this project will provide housing with good quality recreational space, a 1-to-1 parking ratio, which we think is very important, very minimal parking variances, and as you can see, based on the testimony, the other variances, frankly, are somewhat minimal as well, and we believe that this is strictly in accordance with the goals of the 5th Ward redevelopment plan, and Mr. Romanik's design, as he described it, in terms of the exterior and the aesthetics, will also be in full compliance with the 5th Ward redevelopment plan, so we hope the board will consider this application in a favorable manner.
Okay, thank you. Commissioners, any commissioner like to make a motion on this application? Commissioners? Okay, I'm gonna make it then. Okay, on the application of 61 16th Avenue LLC 21 Schindler Court, Somerset, New Jersey, property located at 38-42 Pearl Street, block 4317, lots 14 and 15. I move that the board attorney prepare a resolution granting, I didn't hear any other conditions, so I'm gonna say site plan approval, bulk variances, city engineer, HEP Soil Conservation District, and Mr. Maricondo, there were no conditions, correct?
I don't believe there are any special conditions.
Okay. Mr. Acquaviva, do you agree? No conditions, right?
No, I didn't hear any.
Okay, good. All right, do I have a second?
I second.
Second by Commissioner Santana. Roll call, please.
Commissioners, Commissioner Cleaves,
Yes.
Commissioner Liranzo,
Yes.
Commissioner Santana,
Yes.
Commissioner Omar, Vice Chairman Udine.
Yes.
Thank you. And Chairwoman Northrup.
Yes. Congratulations.
We thank you for your consideration.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So if I'm not mistaken, now we would be hearing, just pull this up for 1 minute. Hold on 1 second. I believe we're gonna be moving on to the Dixon Avenue. I'm just trying to pull it up on my, computer. Just bear with me 1 moment. Okay, sorry, I'm having a little difficulty here. Okay, so this is the Alimi Builders LLC, 318 Dixon Avenue, Block 5303, lots 9 and 12. Who is representing this applicant?
Alan Maricondo, 726 Market Street, Paterson.
All right, thank you. So, the applicant proposes to construct a new 4-story residential building with a total of 15 units. The existing dwelling on the property will be removed. The lot has an area of 15,000 square feet and is within the R3 high medium density residential district. The ground first floor proposes an elevator, 2 internal staircases, a lobby, a mail package room, a water meter and a sprinkler room, a storage room, an electric and utility room, 2 exterior staircases, and a refuge recycle area. The ground first floor also proposes 11 parking spaces inside the parking garage and 10 parking spaces on the surface parking lot outside the garage. The second, third, and fourth floors proposes 2 2-bedroom units and 3 1-bedroom units. New floor plan proposes an amenity area and the areas for mechanical units. The proposal is zoned R3 and has frontages on Dixon Avenue, Garrett Street, and Carlisle Avenue. Variances are requested for the following. Lot width as 150 feet is required and 125 feet is existing. Front yard setback is 25 feet is required and 15 feet is proposed from Garrett Street and 10 feet is proposed from Carlisle Ave. Maximum building coverage as 20% is required and 34.9% is proposed. And parking as 28 parking spaces are required and 24 parking spaces are proposed. It requires site plan approval and bulk variances. It's the first time they're before us. And I'm gonna ask, get my notes here. I'm gonna ask Mr. Bart, Ms. Forrest, who is gonna be giving the review tonight?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, then I'm gonna ask you to begin, please.
Sure. Property taxes and surcharges are current. Sinan Alimi, providing an address of 637 Wyckoff Avenue, New Jersey, holds 100% of the stock of Alimi Builders, LLC. As indicated on a property survey prepared by Michael Darmstader and dated November 6, 2020, the parcel consists of lots 9 and 12 and has frontage along 3 streets, including 25 feet on Dixon Avenue, additional frontage of 100 feet along Garrett Street, and also frontage of 125 feet along Carlisle Avenue, and an improved Paper Street. Lot 9 has 25 feet of frontage along Dixon Avenue, a rear lot line also measuring 25 feet, and eastern and western side lot lines of 100 feet each. The parcel has lot area of 2,500 square feet and is being used as the access driveway to the existing dwelling on Lot 12. Lot 12 has frontage of 100 feet on Garrett Street, additional frontage of 125 feet along Carlisle Avenue, and side and rear lot lines of 100 feet and 125 feet. Lot 12 has lot area of 12,500 square feet. Combined lots 9 and 12 have lot area of 15,000 square feet or 0.35 acres. A 2-story frame dwelling exists on the parcel. Garrett Street has an elevation from 6 to 10 feet higher than adjacent lot 12. Matt Evans Architects has prepared a 7-page architectural plan revised on January 28, 2022. Drawing S-1 indicates the existing and proposed site plan, the utility and parking plan, the site location plan, the retaining wall detail, the Senate Bill number 3223, and the zoning table. The R-3 zone permits low-rise apartments with a maximum density of 50 dwelling units per acre, meaning that the existing lot area of 15,000 square feet could in theory allow 17 dwelling units. The applicant is proposing 15 units for this multifamily building, which meets the density requirement of the R3 zone. However, all block requirements, including setbacks, lot building coverage, and parking requirements, must also be adhered to or variances be requested for the site. The proposed site plan indicates that the proposed building is located in a flag-shaped property with a surface parking lot on the western side yard, a 24-feet curb cut, 2 exterior staircases in front and rear of the building, and a refuse and recycle area at the rear of the building are also indicated on the site plan. A total of 3 retaining walls are proposed for this project. The retaining wall along the Lot 9 left property line is 4 feet high at the highest point, which is connected to the exterior staircase in front of the building. The second retaining wall is 1 foot high and is located along the Lot 12 northwestern property line and extends along the right side surface parking lot. The third retaining wall is 2.5 feet high at the highest point and is proposed between the refuse and recycle area and the exterior staircase at the rear of the building. The applicant shall provide the design calculations signed by a professional engineer for any retaining wall measured 4 feet or greater in height. Lot 9 has an address of 318 Dixon Avenue as is proposed to serve as the only access point into and out of the combined parcel of lots 9 and 12. The proposed 15-unit residential building is 110 feet from the Dixon Avenue front property line, which meets the setback requirement on this frontage. The applicant proposes 15-foot setback from Garrett Street and 10-foot setback from Carlisle Avenue. A note on the plan indicates that the entire site and site perimeter is to be equipped with video security throughout public areas and site lighting along the travel public way and parking area. Surveillance cameras are to connect to the City of Paterson Police Department system. Drawing S-2 indicates site details including the sanitary sewer connection, the sidewalk and driveway apron, the water service connection, the sidewalk and paving detail, the tree planting, the pavement stripping and center line and traffic arrow, the recharge pit, the well stop detail, the fire service, the handicap parking and traffic sign, the curb detail and the handicap parking details. Drawing S-3 is the soil erosion plan, which indicates details about the erosion and sediment control. Also, the details for refuse and recycle area and the reserved parking signs are indicated in this drawing. Drawing A-1 indicates the ground or first floor plan. The ground floor plan proposes an elevator, 2 internal staircases, a lobby, a mail package room, a water meter and sprinkler room, a storage room, an electric and utility room, 2 exterior staircases, and an exterior refuse and recycle area. The exterior staircases provide access to the second floor units. The ground floor also proposes 11 parking spaces inside the parking garage and 10 parking spaces on the surface parking lot outside the garage. 2 compact car spaces and 2 handicap parking spaces, as well as 3 electric vehicle make-ready charging stations are proposed in the parking garage. The electric vehicle charging stations are indicated on 1 handicap space as well as 2 regular vehicle parking spaces. The proposed drive-out is to be 25.5 feet on the surface parking lot and 24 feet inside the parking garage. The handicap parking stalls are to be 16 feet in width and 18 feet in length, and the other parking spaces are to be 9 feet in width and 18 feet in length. The access to the residential units is either through an interior door from the parking garage to the elevator lobby or from the building main entrance. Drawing A-2 indicates the 2nd through 4th floor plans, which are measured 65.5 feet in width and 80 feet in length. The proposed 2nd floor plan indicates 2 two-bedroom units with an area of 910 square feet each and 3 one-bedroom units, of which 2 units are 734 square feet and 1 unit is 604 square feet. All of these units meet or exceed the minimum floor area, and they contain a kitchen, a living and a dining area, a full bathroom, a laundry closet, a mechanical unit, and a balcony. Proposed third and fourth floor plans are identical in layout, and they include 2 two-bedroom units with an area of 910 square feet each and 3 one-bedroom units, of which 2 units are 734 square feet and 1 unit is 604 square feet. Each unit is to contain a kitchen, a living and a dining area, a full bathroom, a laundry closet, a mechanical unit, and a balcony. Drawing A-3 indicates the proposed roof plan, which contains 3,320 square feet of amenity area with landscaping and seating, as well as an area for the mechanical units. Drawing A-4 indicates the elevation details. The front elevation indicates an entrance door and a set of concrete steps to the second floor, and it contains a brick facade as well as a 2-color stucco finish for the building. The right and left side elevations indicate balconies for all 3 floors and a brick facade as well as a 2-color stucco finish for the building. The rear elevation indicates an exit door and a set of concrete steps to the second floor, and it contains a brick facade as well as a 2-color stucco finish for the building. The front and rear elevations both indicate that the second through fourth floors are cantilevered above the first floor parking garage. All 4 elevation plans indicate single and double windows on all 3 levels of the residential units. The building has a height of 37.7 feet. Variances are requested for the following. Lot width as 150 feet is required and 125 feet is existing. Front yard setback as 25 feet is required and 15 feet is proposed from Garrett Street and 10 feet is proposed from Carlisle Avenue. Maximum building coverage as 20% is required and 34.9% is proposed. And parking is 28 parking spaces are required and 21 parking spaces and 3 electric vehicle charging stations are proposed. The applicant proposes widening the existing access driveway leading to Dixon Avenue to 22 feet in width. The driveway has a downward slope towards Dixon Avenue. The applicant has provided the side distance for the eastbound cars and the vehicles entering Dixon Avenue to ensure that the driveway access and exit is commensurate with the speed of the road to which it connects. According to the City of Paterson Traffic Engineer's recommendation, in order to provide a safe side distance, a no parking zone shall be provided between the subject property's driveway and the stop sign located at the intersection of Dixon Avenue and Garrett Street. If approved, the applicant and his attorney shall work with the city traffic engineer and the city council to provide and enforce a no parking zone along this part of Dixon Avenue by ordinance. It shall be the responsibility of the applicant and or the preparer of the plan to obtain a letter from the city engineer indicating that the plans have been satisfactorily reviewed prior to the plans being released to the construction official. This proposal is located in the Garrett Mountains section of the city. The surrounding area consists of single and multi-family residential dwellings. The Garrett Heights condominiums are located to the south of this proposal, and the Garrett Mountain Reservation, the large recreation area, is to the west of this proposal. The applicant estimates the cost of this proposal at approximately $3 million. The applicant shall incorporate the design standards stated in section 400-2 of the City of Paterson Land Development Ordinance on the site and within the building. The applicant should request that the tax assessor merge the 2 lots into 1 lot number. At the previous planning board hearing on June 4, 2014, the planning board granted a conditional approval to the subject property to construct a new multi-family residential dwelling with 4 units. This proposal did not obtain a final approval. This was the staff report.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mariconda.
Yes, good evening again, Commissioner, Madam Chair and Commissioners. Essentially, we have an application that's been very thoroughly described by the planner this evening. This developer, as the members of the board are fully aware, I believe, is an experienced developer in proposing and constructing, very importantly, multifamily dwellings and 2 or 3 family dwellings as well within various parts of the city of Paterson. This particular site, we believe, is an exciting new challenge for the developer and for the city, very frankly. We think it's a challenging location in terms of topography, as Mr. Evans will describe, but it's also a very unique site in terms of the possibilities for new development for various, reasons, which he'll also describe, the special nature of this location for this site, for this project. We will definitely, as Mr. Deutsch's review with us during the course of this project review over the last couple months, we've worked hard to accommodate his requests and advice regarding various elements of the project. And as you've heard already, there is a rooftop open space element here. So we will now begin with Mr. Evans and the applicant. There'll be only 2 witnesses.
Please proceed.
Mr. Evans?
You swear affirm testimony about to give us the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Say your full name for the record.
Matthew Evans, architect planner, 470 Chamberlain Ave, Paterson, New Jersey.
And we accept him as an expert witness. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
So I can
Mr. Evans,
share.
you can share your plan, yes.
Can you see the plan?
Yes, and it's tiny. I mean, tiny, tiny.
Okay, all right, I'm gonna, okay. Need to zoom in a little bit here. Okay, so,
Okay.
we're showing this property, it's 15,000 square feet even. Has an existing structure on it. It's basically, it's somewhat of a flag lot. It's fronted by, a few streets. You have Carlisle Avenue, which is an unimproved, street, basically a paper street. Garrett Street is, to the east of the property, and then the access is on Dixon Avenue. So there's existing driveway which would be improved, regraded, and then we would remove all the structures on the site to propose our new 15-unit development. Looking at the grading on the existing site plan, you can see from Garrett, it slopes considerably down towards the entry driveway and to Dixon Avenue. What we would be doing is pull over to the proposed. You can see the new building, the new parking, lighting plan, and then we have a new driveway that would access to Dixon Avenue. And then we have the, trying to zoom in on this, showing the development is a hybrid of the building, the parking, drainage system, showing the garage and the entry floor level for the building. We show that, so we have 11 spaces in the garage, and then we have a total of 21 altogether with surface parking on the outside of the building. It was a challenging site to design with, as you can see, it's a flag lot with some grading issues, but I think we successfully accomplished what we could with the property. As mentioned also, it can support up to 17 units. The applicant is doing 15 units on the property.
And this, of course, is a permitted use in the R3 zone.
Yes. And just to go through, we have sheet S2 are the site details. Sheet S3 is the soil erosion plan, which would be submitted to Hudson Essex Passaic Soil Conservation District, and some other details for the refuse and some handicap signage. Looking at the proposed ground floor plan, we show the parking, surface parking, and then the handicap, parking spaces. We also added, electric vehicle spaces. So we have 3, spaces, with access to electric vehicle parking, which has been approved to an extent that we can, reduce the requirement in zoning. We have, our main entry lobby, elevator lobby. We have 2 egress stairs and, exterior stairs also for the development. So the garage is basically, buried, under, the grading closer to Garrett Street. And then as we, go up on the second floor, it would be exposed to, grade reaching the grade, the natural grade on the outside of the building in the rear. We have, a mix of 1 and 2 bedroom units, and, all the units have separate, dedicated mechanical, central air and heating systems, which would be controlled by the tenants. We also have, laundry facilities for each of the tenants in each of the apartments also. We have large, bedrooms. The 1 and 2 bedrooms are large apartments. They meet or exceed the minimum requirements for, the sizes. So looking at, apartment 203, for instance, we have 734 square feet, and that meets, is in excess of the 600 required for a 1-bedroom unit. They're all handicap accessible units, and we have balconies for all the units. So they all have their own, private balcony areas for each of the units. I have a rendering I will present in a little bit, show you how it fits in, to the, site. And basically, the 3rd and 4th floor plans are consistent with the 2nd floor plan, with the exception of access, to the grade. We have stairs that access the grade at each, end of the building on the exterior. Going to the rooftop, we have the rooftop, amenity space we've added. We have 3,320 square feet of rooftop amenity area, has 2 means of egress, also elevator access and a lobby, so, handicap accessibility. And then we show the rooftop, condensers for each of the units would be separate and screened from the street and also from the, recreational space for the tenants.
So Matt, that recreational space meets the open space requirement and exceeds it slightly, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And of course, you take all the safety precautions regarding fencing and, security there?
Yes, it would be, we have 42-inch minimum, enclosure around that, which meets the, life safety and the, International Building Code for safety. Also, we show, decorative railings and, balconies for all the units. We have a mix of materials. We have brick and 2-tone stucco showing on the elevations. And you can see how we've developed this, to match the site contours and working with the site. We have the stairs, on the rear elevation. Then we have the opposite stair on the Dixon Ave side, showing the mix of materials. So we have a nice, aesthetic appeal on all sides of the building. So we wanted to create, basically this building that would be up on Garrett Mountain, which, the half of these units would face out on down the valley towards Paterson with views of the city and, towards the city of Paterson. So, those are the, plans. We can go through the variances.
Sure.
And as I said, we tried to make this with a lot of these, site conditions, the flag lot, the side yard, setbacks, which become front yard setbacks because of these street conditions. We worked as much as we could with the, within the R3, scope of the requirements. So looking at one of the variances, is the front yard setback. So as I mentioned, the side yards are Carlisle and Garrett, or Garrett Street is a front yard, Carlisle also, Dixon Avenue. So those being existing non-conforming conditions, we worked as much as we could with those setbacks, looking for relief on those. The other variance would be lot building coverage. 20% is maximum, existing is 8%. We have 34.9% of coverage, which is consistent with many new developments in the city of Paterson in most of the multifamily wards zones.
In fact, I would say that this lot coverage is substantially less than many.
Yeah, so we show the lot 10, which is one adjacent property. That's a building that's 40% building coverage, which exceeds the existing R3, and also is more intense than our lot coverage, right, for the building.
And you touched upon the parking with the 3 electric charging spaces credit. We're very close to the 28 requirement.
Yeah, so the parking, we are required 28.2 spaces. We have 24, so we are within a good, comfortable margin of providing parking for the development.
And again, we're substantially in excess of one parking space per unit. Is that right?
Yes.
More than 1.5, actually.
Yeah, so we exceed. So everybody would have at least one parking space.
And some tenants would have more.
Yes.
Okay.
So then the lot width would be the minimum was 150. We have an existing 125 feet. We're about 25 feet shy on that. That's a pre-existing non-conforming condition. And I mentioned the building coverage. So there's those few variances. I believe that this could be developed and would fit in with the scale, density, and character of the neighborhood. It would not negatively impact the zone plan. It is permitted in the zone, low-rise apartments, and I feel that it would be a positive development for the area.
With respect, Matt, to the engineering requirements that our planners touched upon, the retaining wall requirements, you will be retaining the services of engineers to provide those retaining walls in accordance with city requirements?
Yes.
And you've had experience with that before. Do you see any issue with meeting the engineers' requirements of the city of Paterson?
No.
Okay. With respect to the traffic engineer's recommendation, could you touch upon that, and how do you will we be able to comply with that?
Yeah, we provided the site distance calculations for the property. So we show it on our site plan, and I believe that it's a safe access. We have show the site distance 88 feet to the edge of site from the vehicles entering Dixon Avenue from Garrett. Basically, when they enter, they will be going at a slow rate of speed because they're going 90 degrees and turning onto Dixon Avenue. And then the vehicles entering, going up Dixon Avenue would have, the eastbound cars would, we show the 150-foot site radius, and those also are coming up the hill. So they'd be going uphill towards our site, and I don't think there would be negative impact. Also, the recommendation for no parking, we would petition the council to see if we can have those spaces as no parking in the triangle.
So you're confident that we can provide the safe site distance in accordance with the engineer's recommendation?
Yes.
And we will do that with a recommendation or request of the city council to provide and enforce that no parking zone along that part of Dixon, but by ordinance.
Yes.
Okay. And then based upon all of that presentation, you don't feel that this site and the ingress and egress negatively impacts any of the surrounding neighbors in any way?
No, it's an existing, private access road, similar to some other ones in other municipalities. This, city of Paterson doesn't have too many flag lots like this, but, we've developed properties in similar sites and been very successful. And I don't think it would negatively impact, the, neighborhood. We also have, a rendering.
Yes, you can present that rendering if you would.
Yeah, let me, share the rendering. Know if you can see it. Can you see that?
Madam Chair, are we picking that up?
I say it, yes.
Okay, so basically what you have from the, you see the building will be facing the valley, these balconies. We have a mix of materials. It's a modern aesthetic design. As you can see, we have the balconies for all the tenants, and then we have parking underneath. We show the lighting for the parking area, and then we have the main entry at the corner of the building, and the surface parking is shown. And we mix it up with some brick and different stucco materials. As you can see, the applicant wanted this type of look. I think it's a very smart and clean look, and it would be a nice addition to the city of Paterson.
That would conclude our testimony, Madam Chair, for Mr. Evans. The only other witness we would have would be Mr. Alimi to ratify or confirm testimony.
Why don't we bring him forward also?
Sure.
Then I'll open it up to the public.
Sure, Mr. Alimi.
Where is he?
Where is he?
He's muted still.
We're,
You're muted.
I see on the bottom, but I don't see him.
yeah, we'll get him on.
Okay.
Hello, sorry about that.
Have a camera?
We need to
Yeah,
see your
hold on.
face.
Yes, I'm coming
He's
out.
working on it.
This. There we go. Hello? Oh, sorry.
Work, you gotta get that camera.
Yeah, I'm getting it. There we go. Okay, cool.
Okay.
There you go. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Please raise your right hand.
Sure.
You swear affirm testimony about to give us the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Say your full name for the record.
Sinan Alimi.
Mr. Alimi, you are the principal owner of Alimi Brothers, LLC, is that correct?
Yes.
And as such, you're obviously fully familiar with this project that you've been working on for quite some time with Mr. Evans
Yes.
and also with the city planning staff. This is obviously not your first proposed development. You've had several approvals and completed projects within the city of Paterson, is that correct?
Yes, it is.
And they include multi-families of this size and scope?
Yes.
Okay. You heard Mr. Evans' testimony this evening on your behalf?
Yes.
And the planner's report detailing the city planner's position?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Are you in full agreement with Mr. Evans' testimony on your behalf?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so you understand some of the requirements that will be in place with respect to engineering because of the unique nature of this site and the other items that we've discussed today?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Mr. Alimi is available for any questions as well, Madam Chair.
Okay, I'm going to open this up. Just give me a moment. I'm going back to get the address here. Okay. I'm going to open it up to the public first. So if there's anyone in the public that has any questions of either of these witnesses, please call in at 973-321-1579. The meeting ID number is 711-680-001. I will allow 2 minutes for call-ins, 3 minutes for questions. Okay? Madam Secretary, is anyone on the line at this time?
Yes, yes, we do. His name is Chris Faustino. Are you there, sir? Can you unmute yourself?
Muted. Yes, I did. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, sir. You may proceed.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Chairwoman Norton?
No, excuse me,
I'm
please
sorry?
state your name, I'm sorry, please state your name and address for the record.
Sure. It's Christopher, last name Faustino, and I reside at Garrett Heights, which is 26 Boulder Run Road in Paterson.
Okay, please, what is your question and who is it for?
Sure. I just had a couple of general questions. One, is there any visitor parking that is proposed at the site?
Well, with the parking, we provide is based on the calculations for the city of Paterson ordinance. And that would, I guess, include, parking calculation percentage for visitor parking based on the requirements for the parking, ordinance.
Okay. The other thing was there any look into the impact on the schools, or is this an age-restricted building?
This is not an age-restricted building of any kind. This is open in terms of fair market rental and screening of tenants. And the scope of this project is limited to 15 units. This is not a multifamily in the range of 50, 70, or 100 units per se. So this is fairly typical of development in the R3 zone. So we don't believe, we're not offering any particular expert testimony about school systems, but this is a site that we think can certainly handle this type of development in terms of, impacts on all city services at this time.
Okay.
And these are these are 1-bedroom and 2-bedroom units limited too also. Yeah.
Okay. Last question, and then I just have 2 comments after that. Was any meetings with Pascack Sewage Authority? We up here have had a problem with water pressure. So I don't know if that same feed would be coming into this building that would put more strain on the water pressure that is experienced up here for quite some time.
Mm-hmm. Yep, we are familiar with that. The Passaic Valley Water Commission is notified, and they will normally send us a letter so that as part of the post-approval process, if we are fortunate enough to get approval, we would of course work with the Water Commission and the City Engineering Department. But as of yet, we have not received any comments or review from the Passaic Valley Water Commission, but that would of course have to always be taken into account.
Okay. And the reason I kind of have an interest is I think it was 2018, 60 Mountain Avenue, which is on the other side of us. I attended a lot of meetings and just sort of similar type things. And 2 takeaways from that project, I know with some of the commissioners, and I believe it was a councilman who sat on the board at that time, was the R3 zone, while I understand it, and it's a beautiful building rendering you have there, but part of that, I believe they said that they wanted to preserve the character density scale of the existing neighborhood is always encouraged. And there's nothing but like multifamily houses there. That building in that spot kind of, even that 60 Mountain Avenue project kind of didn't go with the neighborhood feel. If any of the commissioners want to drive up Dixon Avenue to Carlisle and Garrett, cars parked there, you can barely fit a car down there. The fire department has like an issue. It just kind of, I know it's zoned for that, it just doesn't have that kind of feel for the neighborhood. And I guess another parting note I have from that, that 60 Mountain Avenue project was a council member on the commission at that time who sort of had said, or it stuck with me, that, there's variances, or the rules are within the zones, or the variances for a reason, and that there really has to be something extraordinary to grant variances, in his opinion. Most of the time these buildings or the asking of variances are sometimes for financial reasons. It's not really because there's an extraordinary circumstance to fit that area. So that's just something that kind of always stuck with me. Happy if people live within the sort of the rules of the zone, and what would you say is sort of the pressing need to have some of these variances there outside of it being financial? Because in his opinion it was financial when you're trying to make a bigger footprint or a higher amount of feet or another level of floors or whatever it might be. So, just sort of a comment that stuck with me about these type of projects. And that's all I have, and thank you. And again, it is a beautiful looking building. It just, to me, it doesn't fit the flavor of the area. Even our homes up here are townhouse type style at Garrett Heights. They just kind of don't have that brick, a boxy feel to them. So thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you for your comments.
Okay, thank you.
Madam Chair, just wanted to point out that 60 Mountain Avenue project was much bigger in scope, number one, and it's a totally different project, totally different site in that regard. And we have already we have established clear, we believe convincing evidence about why these very minimal variances, frankly, should be granted in this particular case. And my client, as an experienced developer, stands ready and willing to work with everyone. And I believe the gentleman indicated he lived in the Garrett Heights development. And unless I'm mistaken, he's not within 200 feet of our project. We understand he has every right to make his comments, of course.
Of course. Okay.
I did get mailed a letter. My particular unit, I believe, is it right there.
Okay, I thought there was a couple units.
We appreciate.
Notice, yeah.
Okay, I just want to say that we appreciate your comments, but I'm going to move on. I have to go to the next caller, should there be one. Maggie, Madam Secretary, do we have any?
Doesn't appear we have any right now. I'm checking with.
All right, then I'm going to move on to our commissioners. Commissioners, okay, any questions, okay, of any of these witnesses this evening? Commissioners? I personally,
Please,
go ahead, please.
I have a
Commissioner,
question.
please.
I was listening to the presentations and, the statement of, unique space or location keeps coming up, and, I'm a little, maybe I'm missing something. What's so unique about this location that it seems like, it may be a challenge? I heard the word challenge, unique space, so, I need something to make me comfortable.
Sure. Well, again, what Mr. Evans was referring to, and also the planner's report definitely referred to it as well, so they're in agreement, is that this particular site, by the way, matches the minimum lot area requirement exactly, okay? But the topography and the location, and Mr. Evans can go over that again, requires some work to make sure that the structural design and the layout comports with the particular topography. So, Mr. Evans, maybe that's why we use that word, because you explained that a little further.
So, I would say that, the site is particularly suited for this property based on what we designed. And the challenge, as I mentioned, was the topography. And if you looked at the elevations, you could see how, basically it's buried along Garrett Street, so it won't be a tall building because the grading is, we're working with the grade and within the site. Also, the conditions of some of those setbacks, there are 3 front setbacks, so they require more, even though they're not traditional front setbacks. They're basically we suited the building conforming more to side setbacks or rear setbacks than what we have shown according to the strict reading of the front setbacks. So with that and the grading and it's a flag lot condition.
Can you explain what a flag lot means? Maybe some people are not aware of that.
So a flag lot is a lot that has, it's basically, if you think of a flag in the pole, you go down the road and then it's basically using that property behind other lots or has access that is not consistent with the normal properties which face the street. So
then
it's tucked away in the back.
Is there frontage on more than one street, or do you mean just to the rear of the property?
Right, so the frontage on Garrett Street would not be accessible for that
Wait,
driveway.
Matt, excuse me, can I ask you to put up the plans and show her?
I'm sorry.
Because, yeah, honestly, I think that, it's easier if you
Yeah.
could show her than to
Yeah.
tell her.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Here we go. So looking at, I'll just go back to the elevation, so you can see how the grading is for the site. You can see on the side, the Dixon Avenue side, how the grading comes up, and also on the rear elevation. So we have a lot of grade that we're working with, a lot of excavation for the building. And then going back to the site.
All right, somebody else is on the line. I'm gonna ask that everybody mute themselves while Matt explains to Commissioner Cleaves why this is a little bit unique. Thank you.
So looking at the property, you can see Garrett Street is to the left of the building, as you can see the shaded building there. And then we have buildings on Dixon next to us between the driveways between two lots. And then we have, which is Carlisle Avenue, which I don't know if it's actually a real street or it's it's definitely a paper street. But I don't know if it was vacated, but it has a very challenging site as far as topography. So that I don't know if it would ever be able to be developed. And then we basically use that. We push the building into the grading, and we have parking and open space around the building. So that's how we successfully designed it. And we did 15 units, and even though the ordinance permits 17 units, we've kept it to 15, which is something that we haven't done in the past too much, but it's not maxed out for the unit count. And we do have a low intensity unit where we have 1 bedroom units and 2 bedroom units, so it would be more suited for either older couples or young couples or single people, not really particularly suited for families or children. So it does, professional people. And the way we've designed it, I think, is particularly suited for the site and would not negatively impact the zoning.
Thank you.
Commissioner Cleaves, did that answer your question?
Somewhat, but thank you.
Listen, I believe that this has been in the works for a very long time. It's up there in Garrett Mountain. The terrain is not all that easy to work with, and I believe that that's part of the uniqueness. Am I correct, Matt?
Yes, we spent a lot of time and developing it, redesigning it in order to fit this site and be a successful design and meet all the codes for building. Because once we get, if we were to get approved by the planning board, we still have to get approved for life safety, building code. It'll be a fully sprinklered building. Some of those things, we have all the egress elements.
Full engineering approval, of course, right?
Yes.
And this isn't gonna be an attractive site. I think a lot of people are interested in possibly residing there or relocating there. So we think this will be a very marketable development.
I personally think it's a beautiful looking building. I think it's gonna fit in with the terrain there very nicely.
Thank you.
But anyway, that's my personal opinion. Commissioners, any other commissioners have any questions? Look, they got the beautiful balconies there. It's really lovely. Commissioners?
I just have a comment.
Hello, ma'am.
Wait, I'm sorry. Two people are talking. So one person was the Commissioner Lorenzo. You said you have a question?
I'm gonna make a comment to that.
Yes, go ahead, make your comment.
One of the problems in that area is that Dixon Avenue, the people coming really fast from the mountain down. So we probably gonna talk to to the traffic division and see if they could make Dixon Avenue one way going up. So that way it's gonna help and prevent accidents in that area. That's all I wanna comment.
Can I point out, Madam Chair, briefly in response, and we appreciate the Commissioner's comments. We are definitely 100% committed, as per the planner's report, to work with the traffic engineer with any recommendations that would involve, safety requirements like the sight distance, regulation, the no parking zone, and whatever else is required. And we will work fully with them in terms of any recommendations that are made to the city council to provide the, legislative approval, if you will, for those changes.
All right, okay, Commissioner Alonso, that answers your question here, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Recommendation, okay. Any other commissioners, any questions? Commissioners?
No.
Any questions?
No.
Okay, I'm hearing no, so I'm assuming no, okay. All right, so then at this time, I would like, Mr. Maricona, can you please summarize?
Certainly, thank you, Madam Chair.
Ma'am, excuse me, ma'am.
Well, who was that?
Hear me.
I am going to call you, sir. Just give me a moment, please.
Oh, okay.
You cannot speak out of turn. Just give me a moment and I'll introduce you. We have a Marion Werda on the line. He is an objector. Mr. Werda, please wait for the chairwoman to direct you. You may proceed.
What's his name?
Marion Werda, W-E-R-D-A.
Okay, all right, Mr. Werda, please state your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Marian Werda. I am living at 222 Dixon Avenue.
Is that? Okay, your question?
I have my
You have to-
friend to the cheese.
I'm sorry, you have 3
I'm not
minutes for
very
the
well with
question.
the English.
Go ahead.
I'm not very good with the English. I have my friend. He's gonna speak
No.
after me.
I don't think that we can do that. I'm gonna defer to Mr. Aquaviva, right? The person who's asking the question has to be the person who's asking the questions.
I didn't hear what he said, Madam Chair.
I think he's saying he's not very good with this, he's gonna have somebody else talk.
No.
But I think, no, we can't.
If he's going to object.
Okay, so I will try to do my best.
So, so I'm sorry, I'm his friend, and I just want to be on the record for a moment. If my best friend cannot speak, he can speak fluent English, so he wouldn't be able to verbalize himself perfectly with all the questions that he has. But he has the intention of.
What is your name? What is your name, sir?
Excuse me. Who's speaking right now?
My name is Tom Alexander.
So, okay. The person who spoke first, if I heard his name correctly, is Marion Werda. He resides at 222 Dixon Avenue.
320.
If he's going to testify in this hearing, he needs to testify. You cannot testify for him.
Hello?
Alright, so here's the thing, you cannot testify for him. He has 3 minutes, I'm giving him 3 minutes to ask his questions, because I heard you say he's got a lot of questions. 3 minutes to ask his questions, and I'm gonna stick by that, so, and he is the one who has to ask the questions, sir, that's what the attorney is saying.
Wait, so ask for the meeting to be re-adjourned so that you can be represented by the attorney.
Okay, I don't understand what you're saying.
Madam Chair, my advice would be to not grant the adjournment. There was adequate notice given, statutory notice given. He had ample time to retain an attorney and prepare to testify and to object to this application. So my advice would be to not grant any adjournment at this time. The entire application is almost completed.
For the record, the applicant obviously objects to any adjournment.
Understood. Okay, we're not going to adjourn this, okay?
The most important object, for me is the height of the building. I am a neighbor of that new proposed building, and this is the 4-story building, and because of that, I'm not gonna see the sunlight ever on my property anymore. Number one. Number two is the driveway.
Madam Chair, we can respond to that if you wish.
Yes, please
Okay.
respond so we can move forward, please.
Mr. Evans, just referring to your own zoning chart and Mr. Deutsch's zoning chart, could you tell us what the building height is and what is permitted in the zone?
Okay, the permitted building height is 80 feet. We are proposing 37.7 feet on the height. So that is consistent with many 3-story buildings in the neighborhood or in the R3 zone. Even 3-family houses or 2-family houses are very close to that in size and height. So it would not be out of character. We're not seeking a variance. It's basically less than.
Mr. Evans, just hold on one second. Madam Chair, I don't know if anybody else can hear it, but I hear people speaking while
I
Mr.
do
Evans
too.
is speaking.
I do, and I
Okay.
think what's happening is the person who's calling in, someone else is guiding him and they're talking, and it's very disruptive because we can't hear. I only hear one person at a time, and that's the person that called in, Mr. Weirdo.
We appreciate that. If he could be muted while we're responding, that would be only fair to the applicant.
Right, okay, please, so go back to what is allowed in terms of the height and what this actual building is. Please respond one more time to that.
Okay, so in the R3 zone, 80 feet is the maximum height you can go. 37.7 feet is what we're proposing, so that's less than half of the required height for this zone. So this, as I mentioned, 37.7 feet is consistent with 2-family houses and other smaller residential things, so it would not negatively impact the neighborhood. There's an adequate amount of light and air around the building, so the shadow lines would not negatively impact it.
No impact in your estimation on neighbors' air and light.
I'm sorry. It will
Can I please have that person muted? This is unfair.
Excuse me, sir, you cannot speak when someone else is speaking. The stenographer has to take the record. We gotta have it for the record, so one person speaks at a time. Please let me answer the question.
And Mr. Evans, with respect to the number of...
I'm sorry. This is my first time of.
Okay, fine, let him answer, okay, fine, let's move forward, let him answer the question, please proceed.
Just one more question, Madam Chair, in response. Mr. Evans, number of stories?
The parking lot. There is not enough parking lot.
All right, listen to me, sir.
There's park everywhere.
I asked that he be cut off.
Madam Secretary, is there any way to mute him?
He has to be cut off. At least temporarily.
Secretary, is there any way to mute him?
I'm going to try.
Oh, okay, thank you.
We're gonna hold on for a minute because,
Temporarily muted.
yes, let's hold on for a minute until we can get this straightened out. Only one person is gonna talk at a time, and that's it. Just let us know, Madam Secretary, if it can be done.
Looks like he's muted.
Okay, he is muted.
Thank you very
Okay,
much.
please answer his question, and then we can unmute him and ask the next question, and then that's it, please.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Mr. Evans, what number of stories are permitted in this R3 zone? Permitted.
Yeah, the 7 stories, and we're at 4 stories. We meet, as I mentioned, it was half the required height, and we're almost half of the required stories for this development.
We're 3 stories less than what's permitted in the R3 zone.
Yes.
And your testimony that no air and light, there was no negative impact on air and light for surrounding residential properties.
Correct.
Thank you very much.
Unmute the gentleman and let him ask one more question, please. Is he there?
He is, but I'm working with Ryan with
Okay,
IT, so
all right. Okay. Some people just don't want the progress, I think. I don't know, it's something new in their area.
Mr. Werda, if you can *6 on your telephone, you can unmute yourself. *6 on your, there you go.
Hello?
Please
Yes,
speak
now
over
listen to me,
anyone,
Mr.
okay?
Weirdo. Mr. Weirdo, listen to me, please. Ask your question and then wait for the response, please. What's your next question?
Parking spaces. Parking spaces. You have too much parking spaces, and you're gonna have too many cars, and that's gonna impact my neighbors.
Well, the law requires that we have, Mr. Weirdo, the law requires that we have those parking spaces, but I'm going to defer, okay, to Mr. Maraconda at this time.
Thank you
So
again,
just
Madam Chair.
mute yourself again, sir, okay, and let the attorney answer it, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Our testimony and the planner's report both agree that the requirement for this number of units, 15 units, is 28 required spaces. With the electric car credit spaces plus the 21 physical spaces, we are providing 24 of the 28 spaces that are required. Therefore, our variance is very minimal. And as Mr. Evans has testified already, this would provide at least one car for every residential unit, plus 6 physical spaces, plus the electric car charging section spaces. So we are almost at 100% in terms of meeting the parking requirement. And I dare say with all the projects this board has reviewed of this size and scope in terms of the number of units at 15, we would think that this is a very good ratio for parking to required parking spaces, in our opinion. Thank you.
Mr. Weirdo, I'll allow one more question, please, and then I think your 3 minutes is passed, but please ask your next question if you have one.
Okay. I don't have any questions, thank you.
All right, I appreciate your comments, and the board does appreciate your comments. All right, so any other questions from our commissioners? Any other questions? All right, hearing none, okay, I'm gonna ask then, for Mr. Maraconda to summarize, please.
We thank you, commissioners, this evening for hearing us again. We understand the applicant's position in this case is one, I think, of taking on, because of his experience and abilities and track record in developing multifamily projects in the city of Paterson, he's able to develop this site in a very positive manner as we've outlined this evening. We will be working, as we have been continuing to work with the various city departments, including engineering, including traffic, building department, to develop a site that is in great need of development and will help meet the need for housing in this particular neighborhood, which is a very attractive area to develop in terms of aesthetics and scenery and so forth, in addition to the quality of housing that this experienced developer will bring to the site. As we talked about on several occasions now, confirmed by your two planners that the variances in this case are relatively minimal. We meet almost every condition that the zoning ordinance requires. It's a very large parcel, and the number of units we believe, as our planners have both confirmed, is less than is permitted in this particular R3 zone with this amount of square feet. So the developer has tried to be very reasonable and has worked with the city staff, we believe, to develop a project that will be a tremendous asset to the city of Paterson. Thank you.
I personally commend you for reducing the amount of units there, but I think it's a beautiful looking building. I mean, it's unfortunate some people just, want their property to remain the same forever and progress has to go on, and that's my own personal opinion and comment. But at this time now, I'm gonna ask, is there anyone that would like to make a motion on this application?
I make a motion, and I would
Yes.
like for the secretary, please, to read it for me.
Okay. We're gonna send you some paperwork so you can do it in the future.
No problem, no problem.
Okay.
He just likes me to say it for him, that's. Okay, on the
Thank you,
application,
Maggie.
you're welcome, Mr. Lorenzo, one moment, Commissioner. On the application of Alimi Builders LLC at the property address known as 318 Dixon Avenue, Block 5303, Lot 9 and 12. Commissioner Liranzo moves that the board attorney prepare a resolution granting state approvals, let me see what they are. Site plan approval and bulk variances. I don't see anything else right now, so subject to city engineer approval, Passaic County Planning Board approval, Hudson Essex Passaic Soil Conservation District approval, Paterson Historic Preservation Commission approval, if necessary.
I think
There were no conditions that I saw at all. I don't
Madam
see any.
Secretary, I see city traffic engineer and HEP soil conservation.
Okay, I didn't get that, I don't have the,
Okay, I'll just say
the
it's
traffic engineer.
City
And,
traffic, HEP soil conservation district,
okay,
plus the city engineer, that's it.
thank you, I did that one.
Mr. Acquaviva, was there any conditions? No, we're just,
I have
No
none.
conditions.
there's
I have
no
none.
conditions. Okay, all right, do I have a second? I second it. Okay, roll call, please.
Okay. One moment, please. Commissioners, Commissioner Udine,
Yes.
thank you. Commissioner Cleaves,
Lovely building, but I have to vote no.
Commissioner Liranzo,
Yes.
Commissioner Santana, is she here?
Yes.
There you are, okay. Commissioner Amar
Yes.
and Chairwoman Northrup.
Yes,
5 yes, 1 against, 1 no.
We appreciate your consideration and hearing tonight. Thank you.
congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, we have two resolutions, commissioners, don't leave yet. Mr. Acquaviva, you're gonna read them in?
Yeah, okay, I don't know what to.
The problem, Madam Chair, my computer has literally frozen up and I can't get to them right now. So Madam Secretary, would you be able to read them, or Mr. Deutsch, or whomever?
I sure
I can't
will.
access them right now.
Would you like me to do so, Mr. Deutsch?
I have them right here, I'll read them.
Okay.
Thank you.
18 Church Street, NJLLC, having an, at 18 Church Street was approved, conditionally approved at a meeting held on December 20th, 2021. The proposal was to convert parts of the first floor and all of the second floor from commercial use to residential use at 18 Church Street in Paterson, in the downtown B4 Central Business District, and the Historic District overlay. Do I have a motion? The commissioners that were at that meeting are Commissioner Northrup, Ahmed, Cleaves, Figueroa, Fulmore, Lorenzo, and Santana.
So,
Who was that? Who was that? Commissioner Alonso, I second it.
Please, may I make a change on that? There was an error on that. The following commissioners can vote: Commissioner Chairwoman Northrup, Vice Chairman Udine, Ahmed, Cleaves, Figueroa, Fisher, Fulmore, and Lorenzo. These are the correct commissioners.
Okay, well,
They're the
Commissioner
same on the other
Alonso,
one as well.
Commissioner Lorenzo made the motion, I seconded it, and we can do a roll call. Roll call?
Yes,
Somebody's
Commissioner
muted.
Udine,
Oh.
Commissioner Udine. Okay, Commissioner Cleese.
Yes.
Commissioner Liranzo.
Yes.
Vice Chairman Udine, are you there, sir? Okay, we lost him. Chairwoman Northrop.
Yes.
That's the third. You may proceed, Mr. Deutsch.
Yes, at 90 Broadway, also in the B4 district, also heard on December the 20th. Applicant seeks site plan approval on both variances to convert the existing second, third, and partial mezzanine floors of a 3-story building from office to residential use. The first floor shall remain as a commercial use. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
I second, move the rules.
Okay, Commissioner Lorenzo, second it, roll call?
Commissioners, Commissioner Cleese.
Yes.
Commissioner Liranzo.
Yes.
Vice Chairman Udine. He has left. Chair, I don't know. Chairwoman Northrop.
Yes.
This resolution has been adopted. Thank you very much.
Okay. Any other business this evening?